Hey guys, Dave from Hellhammer Gaming. Going to talk about a battle I took part in today with my Dark Angels against Drukhari Player in my local gaming store over in Liverpool. Now, my opponent is entering a Naughty K tournament, which is ITC format, this weekend, and my tournament army is beginner level tournament. So it was an interesting matchup to see what I can do to Drukhari and what Drukhari can do to me to prepare me for going forward. So it was a Strike Force game, 2,000 points. And we played the overall mission, which is a Dawn of War setup, 6 objective markers. My secondary objectives were Stubborn Defiance, which means I pick an objective in my first command phase. I have to hold it then for as many command phases as I can with an objective secured unit. I also took Oath of the Moment, which gives me victory points for having a unit wholly within the centre of the board, destroying a vehicle, monster or character, and not failing a morale test or falling back. I also took Raise Banners, which is an end game objective where I put raised banners on my objectives I control. Every command phase I get a number of victory points equals the amount of banners I still have control of. And at the end of the game I get however many victory points tied into how many banners I still have up. So first turn, played a bit cagey, raised quite a few banners to start me off, to start the ball rolling in my deployment zone. And I chose an objective smack bang in my deployment zone with a squad of Deathwing Terminators on it in cover. So they had a 1-up armor save plus the transhuman. They were a nightmare to shift. My opponent, his first turn, sent a Void Raven Bomber across and tried to mortal wound a blob of Blade Guard, Azrael, Apothecary, Ezekiel, 2 Terminator squads, and an Eliminator squad. He didn't do as much as he was hoping. He then charged Reavers and Hellions into my units. He made a 5-person charge with his Reavers, charged Blade Guard, Azrael, Apothecary, Ezekiel, and a Deathwing Terminator squad. He also charged the Infiltrator squad with Hellions. The shooting, predictably, he offed my Dreadnought and my Whirlwind with his Lances, which wasn't great, but I had to find an alternative method. So he picked his first unit to attack. He chose his 2-man Hellion unit that had been whittled by my Whirlwind. He attacked with them and bounced off my Infiltrators. So I used command points to interrupt and used my Blade Guard, who'd been buffed up with the Apothecary, the -1 damage, Chapter Master rerolls, and slapped his Reavers before the Reavers could do any damage to me. Reavers were wiped before they could do anything, and it took a big chunk out of his tactics. His tactic was to throw Hellions, Void Raven, and Reavers forward, tie up units, cause mortal wounds, and just be an absolute nuisance in my back lines. So I then proceeded to move forward. I took out every single vehicle, which was handy, put him onto foot slogging. My Chapter Master Azrael ended up sitting on an objective fighting Trueborn. My Blade Guard claimed an objective in my enemy's deployment zone, which was really great. And using a bit of Ezekiel and Interrogator Chaplain shenanigans, I threw my Interrogator Chaplain onto an objective at the end of my turn, and he had, because of his Warlord trait, he was objective secured. Ezekiel turned the objective secured unit that was sat on the objective off, so he had more models on it, but my unit was objective secured, so I claimed it. So in my last turn, I put him in a position where instead of getting 15 victory points in his final turn, he only managed 5. So On primaries, we both achieved 30 victory points. On secondaries, I managed to achieve 40. I maxed Stubborn Defiance and Oath of the Moment, and I only managed 10 out of 15 on banners. My opponent managed to kill 2 of my characters. They only managed 2 victory points on one of the others, and 6 on one of the others. He had fully painted, I didn't, because I'm still painting new units up. So the final score was 70 to me and 54 to him. Now the 54 was because of the 10-point painted bonus. The gap would have been bigger if I had still been fully painted and I hadn't put these new units in. So it was a very good game, and I'd like to say that my first game with this army properly against another competitive list was a resounding victory. So great game, opponent was brilliant, had fun, which is always the important thing, and I've learned a bit more about what my army can do. So for now, this is Dave from Hellhammer, signing off.